Is it time for Paul George to officially be shut down for the season? Well, according to one reporter from ESPN, Paul George could be next in line after the Sixers shut down Joel Embiid for the year to sit down for the rest of the season. Tim Bontempts of ESPN bringing us this just yesterday. That's one of the big questions remaining across the league in regards to shutting down Paul George. Joel Embiid has been shut down for this season because of ongoing issues with that left knee, and Paul George could be following close behind. And I do agree. I think it's probably time for Paul George to get shut down. It is time now for Paul George to follow in Joel Embiid's footsteps and be shut down for the rest of the season. And I really think it is a no-brainer. Paul George has dealt with injuries dealing back to the very beginning of the season with that hyperextended knee. Up until now, re-aggravating his groin injury. He has really not had much time where he has been fully healthy. And look, whether you like it or not, Paul George is signed long-term on this team. It's almost impossible to get off that contract and to trade him. So the Sixers should prioritize making sure he does not get further injured down the stretch and just hope that he can get healthy and they can run things back next year with a better team. And the Sixers have incentive to lose games right now anyways because their first-round pick is top 6 protected. Of course, every team in their situation wants to lose to get a higher draft pick, but if they fall outside the top 6, they don't even get their pick at all. So they need, honestly, to lose some of these games. And all it comes down to now is hoping for a bounce-back year next season. Shut down Joel Embiid. Already happened. Shut down Paul George. Maybe shut down Tyrese Maxey too, and hope that next season can be what you thought this season was going to be. And for Paul George, this season has not been the kind of year that you were maybe hoping he could have had. Looking at his numbers this season, significant drop-off. From even just last year with the Clippers, the inefficiency, the inability to attack the rim, draw free throws like he has been in the past, it's been a big disappointment because of Joel Embiid missing so much time. You were hoping that Paul George, the reason you brought him in, was to prepare for those type of moments. He'd be the guy that could carry you in that time and increase his scoring output, but it's really been just one of the worst years of his career, and it's pretty disappointing considering, of course, the contract you gave him. So now the Sixers, currently, when you look at the lottery order, right, again, I mentioned their pick is top 6 protected. So if it falls outside of that top 6, it goes to the Oklahoma City Thunder, of course. It feels like they own every single pick in the NBA year after year after year. So entering March 5th, this is the current lottery order and the lottery odds right now that determine where the Sixers could go. You see they're right there at that number 7 spot, right behind the Brooklyn Nets, Raptors, Pelicans, Jazz, Hornets, and Wizards. So where they're sitting right now, obviously outside that top 6. Now they do have, about a 35% chance to jump into the top 4 if they stay where they are right now, and about 18% to stay at 7. But you want them to jump up to 6 in the standings so they at least have another chance of keeping that top 6 pick. So that's why it makes sense now for the Sixers to be incentivized to lose some more of these games, especially because it's not like you're just sitting Paul George, you're just sitting Joel Embiid just to lose games because you want to get a better pick. They're also dealing with legitimate injuries. Of course, in Joel Embiid's case, much more severe, trying to figure out what's going on with the knee. But look, with Paul George, whether it's been a finger issue on his pinky finger he was dealing with, the knee injury that he suffered at the beginning of the year that he said lingered all the way into January that was affecting his play. He suffered a groin injury a couple weeks ago that he has now re-aggravated. Nick Nurse came out and said that it does not look good. So what's the point of pushing somebody like Paul George at his age, with how much basketball he's played over the course of his career and his injury history over the course of his career, not just this season? What is the point of pushing him to play this year when, I get it, you're still only a few games out of the play-in because the Bulls are terrible, but realistically this team has no shot of probably even winning a first-round playoff matchup against a team like the Celtics or the Cleveland Cavaliers if they were to get there. So don't even risk it. Do what's best for the future of this organization. Shut Paul George down. It needs to happen now. That's just my opinion, though. What say you? If you were Daryl Morey, you were the Sixers, you were in that medical staff, would you shut Paul George down for the year? Just give me an S if you would shut him down, or if you want to see him keep playing, maybe you think Paul George playing is actually helping the Sixers lose games, then type K for keep playing. Before we get to the back half of today's show, look, it's never too late to celebrate this Eagles Super Bowl championship. We'll be celebrating it all year until they win it again next season. There's no better way to celebrate than buying yourself some Eagles Super Bowl merch. I've already bought myself numerous things, including that fresh hat you saw on screen. Chatsports.com/EaglesSB is where you can get that gear. Memorabilia as well, man cave, woman cave, anything that you might want to commemorate this amazing season for the Birds, because it hasn't been an amazing season for the Sixers. Be sure to go get it now because stuff is going fast. Again, that's chatsports.com/EaglesSB. Link's going to be in the comment section as well as the description of today's show. So, Paul George talked about shutting him down, but is it also time to shut Tyrese Maxey down? Now, this hasn't been talked about quite as much as Paul George and obviously Joel Embiid, but I think it's something the Sixers really should consider. Now, when you look at what he's done this season as a whole, he's been relied upon pretty much solely to carry this team all year with the disappointing years from Joel Embiid and Paul George, and it's put a lot of wear and tear and a lot of mileage on Tyrese Maxey, and as a result, hasn't been the same efficient scorer that he once was in the past couple of seasons, but still putting up solid numbers. And up until a few weeks ago, he was really doing well managing how much he was playing in the games and the minutes and not, having the unfortunate reality of being injured. But a few weeks ago, he suffers a finger injury on that shooting hand, and ever since then really hasn't been the same player, and he's been playing through it. But again, this brings me back to the point, why are you playing these guys through pain as if it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals and you need him out there when this team really has nothing to play for, especially when I hear Nick Nurse talk about the injury that he's been dealing with. Nick Nurse was asked how that injury is doing. He said, not much better. I asked him. He came out for a walkthrough with no tape on. I said, hey, where's the tape? He said, forget that tape, man. I said, oh, are you feeling better? You're not wearing any tape. He said, nope. So there you go. That's the answer. It hasn't been any better for Tyrese Maxey. And in those last 5 games since suffering that finger injury, 17.6 assists, but the efficiency has been awful. I think at one point he missed like 12 straight three-point shots dating back to late last week. It's clear that it's bothering him. It's obviously affecting his game because he's not a 31% field goal shooter or a 21% three-point shooter. So, again, why are we just forcing these guys to play through this type of pain, especially considering how much basketball Tyrese Maxey has played this season? He's 3rd in the NBA in minutes per game this year, basically tied 0.1 minute behind Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges. Of course, we know Tom Thibodeau loves to play his guys and his starters heavy minutes. But Tyrese Maxey now, with how much he's played and the fact that now we're starting to see these injuries creep up, I just think it makes sense to shut him down. It's just been such a tough year, not just for the Sixers, but for Tyrese Maxey as well. You feel for somebody like him when he's such an upbeat guy. He's such a positive guy, always all smiles out there on the floor. No matter what's going on, he always seems to just have that energy and bring a spark to the team. It's just kind of been missing this season, and I don't think I can really blame him because of the position this team has been put in and how much has been put on his plate as a young player. And I'm seeing some Sixers fans in our comment section saying, should they just trade him, send him off to a better scenario so they don't waste him? Look, Tyrese Maxey is the future of this organization. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But sitting here today with about 20 or so games left in the season, I get Tyrese Maxey. He's one of those guys who he's going to want to play, right? And, of course, it is partly the players probably lobbying to be out there and play as much basketball as they possibly can because someone like Tyrese Maxey loves the game. But I also think sometimes players need to be told what's best for them and what's best for their long-term future. You don't want Maxey to suffer some type of long-term complications, either with a finger or with the back injury that he just suffered against the Portland Trailblazers, where he's now out tomorrow night as well against the Boston Celtics after he took that scary fall. You just don't want to see anything serious happen when they're not really playing for anything. And just reward Tyrese Maxey. Let him chill. He's been doing so much this season. He has at the very least, earned a little bit of a break. And then maybe we could see a little bit more from Quentin Grimes, who has absolutely been hooping. So, Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Have we already seen the last of them so far this season? It's certainly very possible, as both of them do remain injured. We will see now if the Sixers take the smart route of shutting these guys down, or if they're still delusional, try to make a playoff run. Be sure to subscribe here to the channel. Videos almost every single day on the 76ers. Going to be a very interesting offseason, so you don't want to miss a thing.